Mama, welcome to the Mrs. Mummy PhD podcast. I am your host, Dr. Michelle Gibbs, and this podcast exists to help scholarly mamas like you to achieve your life and academic goals without sacrificing what matters most. Here, we're changing the overwhelm, juggle, struggle narrative around what it means to be a mama on an academic journey to one of empowerment, fulfillment, and purposeful success. So how do we successfully navigate these journeys? Well, first, we need the space to embrace this unique blend. Let's begin by saying yes to creating a life that feels as good on the inside as it looks on the outside, because that's when we truly become purposefully whole. So get ready for the most non-traditional, unconventional, and revolutionary approach to PhD motherhood, because one thing I have learned over my many years of experience on this journey is that if you want something different, you have to do something different. But you must be brave enough to think differently first. So, Mama, are you in? Fabulous! Let's begin. These are our journeys of becoming. Hey, mamas. Welcome back to the podcast. So lovely to have you tuning in as always. And I really just wanted to, in the next couple of episodes, share with you some reflections that I have had in the last couple of weeks. As I was traveling abroad for a conference, I wanted to share some of the reflections with you from that. So I don't know what kind of month you've been having. Obviously, by the time you listen to this, it will be July 1st. And so happy new month, right? But if you have had a busy month of June, a hectic month of June, I hope that some of the things that I share in these next couple episodes will be helpful for you, because these are just some of the things that I've picked up, from my experience of traveling for the conference, and just some things for you to kind of, food for thought for you to think about. So where do I start? There's a couple different things I wanted to share. I'm not sure where's the best place to start. So maybe this is not going to be in kind of chronological order, but it doesn't really matter. It's the reflection that really counts, isn't it? So I will start with the breathtaking view from my hotel room. It was just simply breathtaking. My eyes just gazed into the distance. When there's so much stimulation, there's so much to look at, there's so much peace, and you don't even know where to let your eyes land, right? So my eyes would gaze into the distance as I watched these beautiful boats, because I was staying at a hotel which had the most amazing view of a beautiful lake. And I would watch these boats just sail by before my eyes would land on the horizon. I'd see the beautiful sunrise to my left as the sun would go over during the day, and in the evening I would watch this beautiful sunset over to my right. And I had these bright, clear skies during the day if I happened to have been near my room at that time. Just gorgeous, gorgeous outside. And I was slowly becoming completely lost in a world of vivid daydreams. I was just so captivated by this view. Honestly, it was an introvert's paradise. And the reason why I ended up with this view was because in the room that I was in before, the television would not turn off completely. So it would switch off, but then there would be this bright glow all through the night, which completely kept me awake, and I just cannot sleep with light in my eyes. And so I mentioned it to them, and they said, no problem. They tried to fix it. They couldn't fix it. And they said, we'll move you to another room. So I had to move everything to another room, but actually it ended up being a huge blessing, because then I had this beautiful ocean view room, which was so amazing. So there I was with this most amazing view from the 31st floor of this tower. And, I just was speechless by the view. It was a panoramic view from this hotel room, which was just so gorgeous and so peaceful and so mesmerizing. And to be honest, it was actually an introvert's paradise. The peace, the quiet, the solitude, and the opportunities for reflection. It was just amazing. As an introvert, it will be no surprise to hear me say that this felt like a taste of heaven. It felt like a taste of heaven, like I was living in a daydream of some kind. With this stunning view from my hotel room. If you're on my email list, I will send you a photo of this room. It was just amazing. And you would probably understand if you are an introvert like me, and if you have a look at this beautiful view, you'll understand why I nearly forgot why I was even in this hotel room in the first place. Why was I there? Like, I didn't even care why I was there. I was just so mesmerized by the view. The beautiful skyline, the lake view room, the daily sunrise and sunset gazes, the huge television with lots of channels, even though I didn't even turn it on once because I wasn't interested in watching television then anyway. But the large, modern, immaculate room facilities and the wide range of hotel amenities on offer, it was just simply magnificent. Until, of course, it wasn't enough. Yes, you heard me correctly. It wasn't enough. And I know you're probably thinking, what? All of that? And it's not enough? It sounds like you're being quite ungrateful, Michelle. And I am not. I'm not. It's not about whether or not I was grateful for the opportunity to be there, because believe me, I was very grateful for the opportunity to be there. But there was more. And I want you to just bear with me as I really reveal to you what the actual reflection in this moment was. So if it's okay with you, I invite you to hear me out. It wasn't enough because just like a PhD motherhood journey, isolation feels really good at first, right? You know, when you're in your element, plus it feels like no one really gets this journey anyway, right? So you're okay going solo because nobody in your circle truly understands the unique experience of doing a PhD as a mama, right? Nobody gets it. And so you keep to yourself, you struggle along in solitude, and you hope that it will just get easier with time. Even if it's costing you the opportunity to finish well, even if it's costing you the opportunity to actually enjoy the journey, even if it's costing you all of that, you continue to plod along alone in solitude, hoping that it will get better at some point, or at least after you've completed the PhD, after you've completed whatever academic journey you're on. But as somebody who has been on this journey, I will say to you that it really doesn't. This prolonged isolation of PhD motherhood can be so incredibly difficult, and for many different reasons. So it only ends up really getting harder with time as opposed to easier with time, because you are navigating a journey that not many others have traveled before. This is a brand new terrain, a brand new territory, and you are exploring what this journey is like as a mama. And so instead of getting easier with time, it actually gets harder because that isolation begins to sink in. So no matter how beautiful the quote unquote view might be, when you feel like no one gets it, even those tiny goals can feel insurmountable and those big wins can just fall flat. So if you're wondering where this revelation came to me, as I mentioned, I was abroad attending one of the largest international conferences in my field. And I wasn't just there as an attendee, I was there as a speaker. And as I've mentioned already, the hotel where I stayed was amazing. I stayed on site. So I stayed where the conference was actually happening, which was really handy because I could just zip in and out of all the different sessions and I didn't have to travel very far to get there and to get back to my room in the evening, which was really handy. And of course, the view, as I said, was picturesque because I did get moved to this beautiful ocean view room, but it still wasn't enough. And as I reflected, I realized that my actual conference highlight wasn't the breathtaking accommodation, although that was nice, I will say. It also wasn't my long anticipated presentation to this large auditorium full of some of the cleverest minds that you can imagine. While those bits of it were great, it was building meaningful connections and establishing those meaningful connections with fellow attendees that was the biggest win for me. And no, I wasn't working the rooms like an extrovert or anything like that because that's just not my style. I was intentionally connecting with a handful of individuals and that felt right for me. But regardless of whether you're an introvert or an extrovert or an ambivert or whatever you want to call yourself, what I've realized is that so much can be accomplished when the most intelligent minds cease working alone and come together in a shared space, purposefully designed for interaction, collaboration, networking, and knowledge exchange. This is the power of purposeful gatherings, right? This is the power of purposeful gatherings. And this is why I created Scholarly Mamas. This is another type of purposeful gathering, of course, but Scholarly Mamas was created to help you to stop navigating PhD motherhood alone and to start building those meaningful connections to help you finish your PhD well so that you are not having to do this in isolation, feeling like nobody understands this journey, feeling like nobody gets it, and also not giving yourself the opportunity to learn from others, to connect with others, to see how others are doing this, to see how others have successfully done it. You are not giving yourself those opportunities. And the best bit about being a part of a purposeful gathering like Scholarly Mamas is that you don't have to change who you are to get something meaningful out of it. Introverts belong inside Scholarly Mamas too. And I say that because I think a lot of times we think that just because we are introverted or, we are not extroverted, that we can't be a part of these purposeful gatherings. And I want to say to you, even as an introvert, some of the best memories of that conference were actually the connections that I was able to build, not all of the prestige of the presentations, not the wonderful luxuries of the hotel and the room, but the connections. That was the most meaningful for me. And so on my PhD motherhood journey, I realized that the joy of that, and I put that in quotations, the joy of that isolation, the appeal of going it alone will only last for so long. After a while, it will begin to feel like you're walking a lonely road with a super, super heavy load. And that's why inside of Scholarly Mamas, you will have so many ways to build these meaningful connections. You can join us inside our free Scholarly Mamas Explore community and meet other mamas who are also on PhD journeys. And actually, I should also say at this point that if you are not in Scholarly Mamas Explore, make sure you sign up because we're going to have another meet and greet this month. Actually, in July, we will have another Scholarly Mamas meet and greet, but you need to sign up to get all the details about when and get the relevant links and all that stuff. But you can also join us inside Scholarly Mamas Focus, which is our brand new purposeful co-working space for busy PhD mothers like you, with little time and very long to-do lists to help you co-work with purpose and actually get stuff done. The sessions are a minimum cost and there's no long-term commitment. So make sure you sign up for Scholarly Mama's Focus and let's get co-working with purpose. See you in the room. And of course, if you want to work one-on-one, you can do that via Scholarly Mama's Optimum to get to the bottom of why you are feeling stuck in your PhD motherhood journey and finally get back in the driver's seat so that you can finish well and reach your goals without sacrificing what matters most, like yourself or your family. But mama, this episode is just to remind you, and I wanted to share that experience of the conference. I'm going to share some others in the episodes to come, but I really just wanted to share that to remind you that sometimes the best part is the connections that you establish on this journey. Sometimes that is the bit that helps you to finish well. Sometimes that's the missing piece when you are feeling alone and isolated and overwhelmed. Maybe connection is what you need. Maybe being a part of a community of other mamas who also value education, who also want to reach their big goals, who also want to be present mamas for their kids and present spouses or partners to their spouses or their partners, so that you can navigate this journey well, finish well, and not have to have these undesirable sacrifices that nobody wants just for the sake of success. And so Scholarly Mamas is the perfect place for you to explore all of these possibilities, whether it be in our free Explore community, whether it be co-working with purpose and Scholarly Mama's Focus, or whether it be seeking one-on-one support with Scholarly Mama's Optimum. I want you to win where it matters, right? And this is why Scholarly Mamas was created. It was created for you. It was created for mamas like yourself. And I've done this from my own lived experience because this is what I wish I had. I know even though I was able to achieve a certain degree of success, I know that I would have been so much more fulfilled on my journey of PhD motherhood if I'd had the opportunity to connect with other scholarly mamas and really build those connections. Because when you are a part of a purposeful gathering, these connections are inevitable. These connections are inevitable. That's why at the conference, it was the highlight for me, really connecting with other attendees who I had similar interests. You know, we really were able to connect on so many levels. And I was able to take that experience away from that conference, and that will be the core memory for me. It won't be the luxurious hotel room. It won't be the amazing food that was served. It won't be, the presentations and all of that. It will be for me the connections with other people of similar mindsets. And I really just appreciated the opportunity to do that. So if you're wondering how you can build those connections on your Scholarly Mama journey so that you're not navigating this journey, this roller coaster, right, of a journey alone and in isolation, I want to invite you to be a part of Scholarly Mamas. I want you to be, to have as much success as is possible for you. And that you deserve, more importantly, right? And so until next time, Mama, I'm sending you lots of love and gratitude. I've got some other reflections to share, which I will do in the next couple of weeks. But until then, I will see you in the next episode. And I really wanted to take this opportunity to wish you the very best for the month of July. And if you join Scholarly Mamas Explore, you can come along and join us at our free meet and greet later this month. So I cannot wait to see you there. And until next time, Mama, take care of yourself. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to the Mrs. Mummy PhD podcast. I hope you've enjoyed the episode, and if you did and you want in on this movement, please head over to mrsmummyphd.com or scholarlymamas.com. If you want to do your PhD well without sacrificing yourself or those you love dearest, then you need your hands on my free training called the PhD with Purpose Webinar. When you join us inside Scholarly Mamas Explore, you'll get access to this free training and so much more. Remember, Mama, these are our journeys of becoming.